Hi and welcome to my second preview today. This time we're talking about Mack-Froch versus Yusaf Mack. The earliest fight tonight in Nottingham. It's the second fight in Nottingham in a row now for Mack-Froch, in what has been one of the longest, hardest runs of fights probably in the history of the sport. When you look back, from Jean Pascal all the way to Lucian Boot, there's been top quality opponents, world champions, former world champions, guys that are going to be world champions. It's just over the top of how good the opposition's been. There's been a bit of disrespect towards Yusaf Mack the last few months, saying it's an easy opponent. But when you look at Yusuf's resume, he's fought some decent fights, though he hasn't beaten most of them. He's suffered quite a few knockout defeats. He's been there and about, beat Chris Henry on a split decision a few years back. Daniel Jedi beat him in unanimous decision. He shared a ring a couple of times with the great Glenn Johnson, but ultimately it's the fact that he's lost majority of his top quality fights. He had a good start to his career, but unfortunately he took a few draws. Drew with Randy Griffin back in 2004 in an 8-rounder. Lost to Alejandro Berrio, 6th round knockout. Libredo Andrade, 7th round knockout. Though he did knock Andrade down the first before being dropped twice himself. Set on a run of wins then, before losing in 6 rounds in 2010 to Glenn Johnson. I remember watching that fight. It was disappointing on Mack's side. Going to a brawl with Johnson, and Johnson just had the extra power. Before Otis Griffin he beat straight after a split decision, before losing in 8 rounds to Tavares Cloud. Since then beat Omar Sheikha, one time really, had a shot early in his career. I think against Joe Kawasaki, really hasn't been anything since then. Another low key opposition just a few months ago. So now he's got Mack-Froch in what is to be probably his toughest fight of his career. Although he's deceiving his 4 defeats, there have been tough fights. He stands same height, pretty much same reach. From Philadelphia, he's got 17 knockouts. Not the biggest knockout percentage to worry Mack-Froch, who's 21 knockouts from 29 victories. Mack-Froch now coming off the 5th round knockout of Lucian Boot. It's obviously the win of his career. He probably put it behind his last round knockout to Jermaine Taylor when behind on the scorecards. So you could say he struggled sometimes against the slicker opposition, which is what Yusaf Mack is. But Mack's ability to not get into a brawl most of the time is his downfall. Jermaine Taylor was slick boxer, never got into a brawl or fight, and that's why he was able to be in front before the 12th round when he was knocked out. Andre Ward is something else. Proved that against Chad Dawson, proved that against every opponent he's fought so far, and it was never really his night. Although the scorecards will deceive you into thinking it's a close fight. They're about as ridiculous scorecards as the 120-106 card on the weekend for Mara's Marino fight. But before that, so again, look at the Jean Pascal fight. Jean Pascal was a boxer really, got took into a brawl. Jean showed in his Chad Dawson fight he can box brilliantly, but really got dragged into the wrong fight there against Mack-Froch. That's what Froch can do, can drag you into them fights. He dragged Bute into that kind of fight, took him out in his hometown, and probably one of the best atmospheres I've ever seen. That was a Nottingham arena, this time a Capital MFM arena. It's just going to be the same great atmosphere. Yusaf Mack's going to have to really be dealing with that at the same time as dealing with a Froch who's probably in the peak of his career right now, and looking forward to bigger fights. This is just a stepping stone for him to step up to fighters like Mikkel Kessler. But Yusaf Mack, he's now getting on his career, 32 years of age. May know this is his last shot at anything remotely close to a world title. He's coming down from light heavyweight. He's not going to take Carl Froch is not going to take Mack lightly, sorry. And it should be a very interesting fight. I don't need to tell you more about who they fought, especially Froch. I'm sure you've seen the Super 6 tournament and saw what he could do in there. You can switch up, you can change. It's not going to be as explosive as the Butte fight, but he's going to try and bring Mack into a brawl. And I think once he can do that, once he can put Mack under pressure, he's going to take over in the fight. As for what Yusaf Mack can do, he's just got to stay disciplined, he's got to stay in control, try and slow the tempo down, keep stopping, use that jab, that range finding jab, to keep Froch really almost on his back foot. Keep Froch guessing, keep Froch from moving in quickly and attacking quickly. He's got to stop that from happening. If he's rushed, we've seen what's going to happen to him. If he's rushed, he's got to keep his composure. He's got to stay, stick to his boxing, not fall out of that style like he has done in previous fights. It's a tough ask for him, but I think he can last a couple rounds before Froch really starts to lay the punches in, really starts to put it into a different gear. That's when it's going to be a struggle for Mack to keep with the tempo, to stay out of harm's way and stop himself from getting into a brawl, which he's no good at. He's never been good in brawling situations. Proved that in defeats by knockout. Tavares Cloud, decent puncher, got some power in fists. You know, it was a close fight up until then, but just come over in the 8th round. So in that fight he showed he can win when he's boxing, but Tavares Cloud took it into a brawl really, not so much as Froch will do, but started to land the heavy punches which put Mack out of his rhythm and ultimately stopped him. So it may take a few rounds for Froch to really get going, but I think once he's in his stride, Mack's going to be in a lot of trouble and maybe pulled out about 7th or 8th round of the fight in another confident display by Froch in his pursuit of rematches with Mikhail Kessler and Andre Ward, which are surely not far away. As for Mack winning, it's going to be a tough one. He's got to stay disciplined. There's a slight chance of the upset, but even if he does stay disciplined, does stay on the outside, Froch is a decent boxer as well, as he showed against Arthur Abraham especially. So I see either way Froch winning, whether it's on points or knockout. But if you're going to put it anyway, you'd say a knockout in the, say, about the middle rounds, 7-8 rounds of the fight. I think he can knock him out. So thank you for listening, and please leave your thoughts on who you think is going to win the fight, or what round you think it's going to be, and please leave your thoughts. Thank you very much for listening.